Trevor's saying that's my case for Tennessee giving Georgia the most. Sorry. Let me go back. To me, Kirby has yet to truly be challenged year in and year out to get to Atlanta. I know I'm biased, but I think Tennessee can get an offense that can do what Bama did to UGA last year in the SEC championship game. Yeah, I mean, I think that's quite possible. I think you're looking at a couple of years in the making now. Amanda said that she likes Tennessee to beat Georgia this year. I'm not willing to go there, but do I think ultimately that from a schematic standpoint, Josh Heupel has an advantage? Absolutely, absolutely. I do believe. Now, the recruiting thing is that's a whole nother ball of wax. So, what do we settle on for today's tough question as we bring in the uber talented Caleb Calhoun now?
So we settled on today's tough question: which SEC team has a brighter future than Tennessee? And the four options are Florida, Georgia, LSU, and none. I'll take Tennessee.
Okay. I went with Georgia because I think Kirby Smart's going to have talent there. So even though I believe Josh Heupel's a better schematic coach, unless they're able to pull the big trio to go, and Caleb would know this going back in history, was Jamal Lewis, Deion Grant, and Cozy Coleman. When they pulled those three out in the early 90s out of the Atlanta area, that was like, boom. That was a game changer. Then you started getting the Fred Whites of the world. You started getting other guys. You also had a guy there named Jim Donnan who looked like he had trouble buttoning his shirt in the morning. So I don't.
Exciting.
That's a totally different thing than Kirby Smart. So what about that? Of those three teams, who would you say lockdown has a brighter future as of October the 7th, 2022, and we're looking at the next 3 years? Caleb, who would you say out of those three?
I I'm sorry. I'm super high on Brian Kelly. I've said since January when he was hired, Brian Kelly is the first coach with any semblance of competence at LSU since Nick Saban was there. And that is, I can't stress enough, that's the easiest place to win in America. Like,
Easy.
you don't need a brain cell to win a national championship at LSU. and and I think Brian Kelly is a pretty good offensive mind. And it's just, you don't even need a plane to recruit at LSU. You need gas money. You need a car and gas money, and you don't really have to drive an hour either way, and you can build a national championship team. It is. I can't stress how easy it is down there.
No, I agree. And the kids, like I've said before, are more loyal there than any other state. Because in a
Before
lot
the
Sorry, what did you say, Amanda?
before the NIL, the NIL changes everything.
I agree that the NIL is the one factor we don't know about yet, and that, again, if Brian Kelly had taken this job 10 years ago, Nick Saban would not have his dynasty right now. I would just say that, even though I think I think Saban's a better coach, but I can't stress how easy LSU was to recruit. Louisiana is the best football state in the country. Like, there's really not a close second if you go per capita. It's top four. I think it's number four in just numbers games, but the states ahead of it are Florida, Ohio, and California. Those are three of the five biggest states in the country population wise. And then here's little old Louisiana, that's number four. It's I don't know why, but the football there is insanely good. And like Dave said, they don't leave the state. NIL might change that a little bit, but none of us really can predict how NIL is going to go in the future because there's so many factors in play. So based on the factors we know exist, because yes, LSU is not going to compete with a Tennessee or Texas in NIL, but they might have enough NIL to keep NIL cash on hand to keep Louisiana kids in state.
I agree with Spencer, who said that was a fantastic point by Amanda, and it was. The NIL, we don't know what that's going to be in 3 or 4 years. We do know that it sounds so weird to say, but the reason I would disagree with you on the most talented state, it would be Florida, in my opinion. It would actually, you could take South Florida in and of itself, but you have so much competition between Florida State, Florida, Miami. So I'm with you that Louisiana is the easiest place to win in terms of talent. But what sounds weird, a lot of those corporate dollars that are being spent in Knoxville to pay the Jacob Warrens of the world, who I heard on the radio when I was driving around one day, and who is a part of our program. Those corporate dollars. Anybody in Knoxville knows that you want to be associated with UT football. What's the difference in Louisiana? You might spend those corporate marketing dollars with who? You might spend them with the New Orleans Saints. That might be where some of your dollars go. So Tennessee is an exclusive college town, whereas the state of Louisiana is not. So great point by Amanda on the NIL dollars. Caleb's appearance brought to you in part by Craft Treats. Man, Craft Treats has the chill pills, and woo, they will take care of your pet who might be suffering from arthritis or digestive issues or any sort of social anxiety, anything like that. You go with the chill pills, and the chill pills are available at crafttreats.com. And don't forget, you save 20% at checkout with the exclusive code off the hook. The exclusive code off the hook. Spencer saying, love when you have my brother Jacob on the show. No, we're not related. I thought for a second, Dad, blame it. See, when I read on the fly sometimes these message words, I thought you were serious, Spencer. By the way, I love when we have clips from my brother, Hendon Hooker, on the show. We don't look a lot alike, but
He's your cousin.
yeah,
Not your brother.
cousin. That's what it was.
No one would believe that you guys are brothers. Cousins, yes.
Nobody's believing we're cousins.
I mean, given Hooker's experience and how long he's played college football, they might be similar in age. Because Hooker, what is he now? 45.
He's 22.
No, he's 24.
Oh, I thought he was 22.
Yeah, we're both going to be applying for AARP at the same time. Caleb D. Williams, what can he bring to the table, you think? He was the third highest rated cornerback. You wrote a column on offthehooksports.com, and I thought it was very insightful that Josh Heupel was willing to say he would play a big part. You usually don't say that unless they're going to play a big part.
Yeah, this seems like somewhat of a Hail Mary, if I'm going to be honest.
Well, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't think anybody knows how it's going to work. The fact is, I think we talked on Monday, Warren Burrell is out for the season. Warren Burrell is no Alontae Taylor. We all saw how much he struggles guarding the number one receiver. But then we saw Kamal Hadden guarding the number one receiver, and he was significantly worse. And so I don't think anybody expects D. Williams to offset what Alontae Taylor brought last year. But I think there's just a hope that he can somewhat mitigate just how bad things were against Florida 2 weeks ago. But again, we don't know. What we do know is that nobody else can. So why not go with D. Williams at that point?
Yeah, and he might be the most talented defensive back, that at least cornerback, that Tennessee has, if you base it off of his ranking. This goes back to the talent level and what Josh Heupel's program is going to look like in 2 or 3 years. They need at least one lockdown corner like an Alontae Taylor. They need to find that guy. Maybe it's Jordan Matthews who played last night. I don't know, but those guys, fortunately, like a running back, Caleb, can step in and be a factor pretty early. It's a position that relies on talent almost as much as it relies on knowing a system.